Hi guys, I'm Dr. Eni or Eniela and welcome to the Be That Girl show. Today is our special Valentine's Day episode,
Yay.
February 14th. And we have a special guest. Thank God. I'm not going to be talking and then everybody will not even listen to me and do what I said anyway. So now we're going to have what we call, is it horizontal or vertical? Horizontal, right?
This is horizontal. Vertical.
Yeah, horizontal mentoring. So somebody from your generation can talk to you, give you all the answers. It's Valentine's Day. I am
All the
so
answers.
happy. I'm so happy. I don't have to talk. I just have to ask the questions. I just have to be chill. That's why even, what is chain? Because I'm happy. And I have to talk too much. Although sometimes I like talking. So yeah, welcome guys. Today we have Shay, and I'm just going to let Shay introduce herself. I'm quite sure she likes this question as much as everybody. I like it. You know when people just say, introduce yourselves to
What
us.
do you want me to
So
say?
Shay has been part of our Be That Girl organization, our mentorship, our coaching. She's been our assistant. She's been there grinding with us. She's joined our programs. No, she's getting married this year. Yay! Wedding bells. I think you guys should wedding bells. So, let me not go ahead of myself. Why don't you kind of like introduce yourself, and then we can kind of like go into the episode and what we're going to talk about.
Okay,
So,
I feel like
you go ahead, go.
Itself is very broad, but anywho, hi everyone. My name is Oluwaseyi. I am 23 years of age. I sound very old. I feel like I'm old now, but that
sounds very young.
I just turned 23 a month ago. Yeah, probably 2 months ago now. But I feel like that's everything about me. I am a master's student. I also work. I work in communications. I'm going to probably be like yapping a lot, but yeah. And I'm a fiancé.
Fiancé, yeah, like
Almost a wife.
Almost a wife.
Yeah.
So that's so interesting because I was just watching today, like, oh my gosh, I could not. Everybody has a different journey, right? But I know for me, I could not like even think about being a fiancé or fiancé at 23.
I know.
That is very, very young. So, do you feel prepared?
I don't feel like anyone is ever prepared for anything. Personally, I feel like, oh no.
So, well, tell me, do you feel prepared at the very mature age of 23?
I mean, like, I feel like even if I was 30, I don't think anybody can ever be prepared for marriage. There's no, sure, there are books, there are guidelines, but there's no really, like, there's no handbook for how to be married to anybody. So I don't know. I mean, I'm prepared to be married because that's like my best friend, but I don't know. I'm prepared, but obviously there's still like, there's still like that, that air feeling here and there. But I feel like I'm prepared to be married because I know, like, in my heart of heart, like, that's my person. But like, you still don't know what your journey is going to look like.
Exactly.
So, like, that's like my
either 23, or they get married 23 or 40.
Yeah, like
50.
any age. I feel like at anything, even like when you're going to exam, like you're prepared, but are you really prepared for the questions that are going to come eventually?
Exactly.
So I feel like that's it because with marriage, I know like you're going to have different, situations that come up. You never really know how you're going to handle it. So it's just about, I feel like for me, what I've been learning, like my season of being like a fiancé is just taking it as it comes and just like, I won't say going with the flow, but just like understand that every season is different and we're also two different people as well. So like I have to also learn to like understand like things are going to happen or like whatever. Like I have to be prepared. I don't know, but I just have to be,
you have to be flexible. I think that's your word.
Maybe just
have to maybe Gen Z will say go with the flow. I think
it's just
what you're saying is like kind of like be flexible because there's a way that you want things in your head, and I think that getting married younger will help you because like maybe I want to say your fantasies maybe started from 16 to 23, so that's like 6-7 years of fantasy. But the women that started at 16 and they get married like 40, so it's going to be very difficult to change that like whatever they wanted in terms of how the wedding would be, how the marriage would be, how the guy greets them in the morning, everything like that. So I think there's that advantage that you're a little bit more flexible in terms of how you want things because you haven't had that dream embedded in you for such a long time.
And then also just to throw in that I feel like I'm also prepared because kind of be like our firm foundation was also Jesus Christ. So like I know like I know there's things might happen, but he's still like the beginning of it. He's still like the center, he's still everything. So I feel like with everything, sure, I don't know, I'm not prepared or I'm prepared, he's still there. And he's just going to guide me like through what,
Exactly.
marriage. That's how I feel.
Period. Yeah, it's extremely important. And so were you always somebody that wanted? I know there's some women that always they have this age, they want to get married.
Oh yeah, I want to get married early. I want to get married at 21. Like that was like my age. Like in my head, by now I was meant to have 2 children. But I mean, like now that reality hit, like after I turned 21, I was like, did I really want to get married at 21? I don't think I'm ready to get married at 21. Well, I was still I was done with school, but still, I wasn't mentally. I don't feel like I was mentally ready to be married to anybody at that point. At 21, that. Well, now I feel like I'm mentally prepared, but it's just like I was wanted to get married young. I wanted to have I wanted to be a grandmother, like maybe like 40. I don't even know. I don't know. I feel like in my head, like that's kind of like I wanted to be like a young mom. I saw like at that point when I was growing up, there were a lot of like young moms. I'm like, even now, there are like a lot of like young, not like baby mamas, but there are a lot of like young, moms that are already out there. And I was like, oh, this would be cool. And also coming from like the Nigerian culture, I feel like a lot of people get married like, it just depends. But a lot of people get married earlier, I think.
Girl, where?
No,
but no.
So I have a friend who got married at 18. I had a friend who got married at 21.
Okay, so
it's like they were already so kind of like things I had seen, things I've heard. And my mom was like, "Sure, if you want to get married at 21, I feel like you should get married at 21. Like you do."
You go to like a Christian college or Christian high school?
I went to Christian school from the beginning of my journey.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I feel like people just getting married. And not everybody. Some of my friends are still not ready to get married, but I feel like what I wanted in my heart if I was to get married early, maybe 23 was like the right age for you. I was going to be maybe halfway prepared, or like
there. Sure. I think everybody has different journeys. I think it's not about the age because there's still lessons you're still going to learn.
Oh, of
it's
course.
either you're going to learn it while you're married, and some people just learn when they're single. It just depends on like God's journey for you.
Yeah.
So let's go to the romantic part. This is Valentine's Day. Anyway, so tell me you guys' love story. So it could be a long love story now, since you probably getting married at 23. So like, how did you guys meet?
It was kind of long. We were dating for 2 years. Almost 2 years.
Okay. There's some girls there that have been dating for 10 years.
Oh no, that one is different. That one is all different.
That's a bastion of stagnation. Okay, we won't talk about those ones. But 2 years. 2 years is not a long time.
Okay,
2 years is quite average.
Okay, maybe for me, yeah. I feel like I always did it with intention.
Like, did you guys know each other but started dating later?
So like, I knew him. I knew of him. We went to the same church, but I never spoke to him.
Really?
Funny enough. So things that he did, he was in college, and his college, he's stay on campus. And I was in college, but I used to just go from home. So I was in church every Sunday, and he used to come home like
just when he was
whenever it was home. Yeah. So I never really spoke to him. My pastor's son, I was just like, oh, okay, like sure, like yeah.
Wait, he's your pastor's son?
Yeah.
Your pastor in your church? I don't know how detailed.
He's my pastor's son.
Actual pastor?
My actual pastor. So.
It's like the main pastor or like one of the pastors?
No, the main pastor.
Interesting. I know.
So I'm married to my pastor's family.
You ain't never gonna leave that.
So I'm married to my pastor's life. But yeah, so like when we first, we just like used to see each other, and then he graduated from college, and then he was home, and we started like this thing at my school, at my church called, we had like this news thing that we used to do. And then me being the talker that I am, and he was, good with like videography and things like that story. And we just kind of like started talking. The thing was that the first time I ever saw him, I had a crush on him. But then it was like baby crush. It was just like, it went, and then, I just saw him, I was like, oh, cute. And then it was because I didn't really see him. And then for 4 years, he wasn't really there. So it was just like when I see him, and I was like, oh, okay, hi. Like we didn't really talk. But then we started talking more because I was like the anchor on the news, and he was the one in charge of like, and he was the one in charge of like videography. And yeah, we just started talking, history. And everything is history. Like here we are getting married 2 years, almost 3 years later. But
you said something about intention. I cannot even imagine. Maybe it was type of caliber I had. God, thank you. I can't even imagine mentioning marriage to people I was dating at 21, 23. So like, how were you intentional about that from like such a young age and from you guys going forward?
I feel like that was more of like a personal thing. I feel like because I watched my parents And for me, like marriage has always, I know for people like marriage, they view marriage differently, but like, I don't know, maybe because my parents I just saw them and I was like, I want something like this. I feel like
had good.
I had like good examples of what marriage should look like. And from an early age, if you ask anybody in secondary school, they already said, oh, she's going to get married early. She's probably going to be the first person to get married. Actually, I am. But it's just like, because everybody I ever dated in the past was more like, oh, my mother, what is this? Yes, I had boyfriends before dating me. I mean, I feel like I already told her this, but I don't think my father knows she watched it. Daddy, he'll be fine. At this point, it's too late. I had boyfriends in the past, but like with everyone, I was just like, yeah, like in my head is like, if I don't see us heading, like even if we don't get married now, if I don't see us heading in that path of like marriage, it's not going to work out for me. Like I might drag my feet, but God always has a way of pulling me out of certain relationships that I try to stay longer in. So I feel like when I already had like that intention, I already told God like this is what I want to get married young. I want to find my person early. I want to like be with that person. Like that's kind of like I already had that intention from like when I was younger. So I feel like that was more of like a me thing. But I feel like sometimes people can also like incorporate in their lives, because I have people who like just date for fun, and that's them, and that's fine.
That's not even an inspiration thing. That's everybody.
That's the thing, people. But for me, it was like I never saw the point of, I won't say wasting time, but like wasting time with somebody and you're not going to have any end game. Like for me, that was like always things like some people can be lessons, and reasons in your life, but it's like
how many lessons are you gonna have?
Like how many lessons? How long do you want to be in a lesson?
Class.
In that lesson, like like even if you guys are not getting married now, like you can always like, as much as you're like talking about, okay, in the future, this is something we're going to do. Like this is, I don't know.
But how do you do it? Because one thing I find for like all this, I don't say your generation, but it's Gen Z girls, how do you do it without like, because there's a way that men will make you feel desperate if you say, and men can always say what they want. They always, whenever they're in a negotiation, it's like, oh, this is not working for me. They'll leave, or they'll say, I'm not ready to get married. But there's a way that women are made to feel like if you ever say what I want to get married in 1 year, they're going to be like, you're desperate, or, how did you kind of do that, be intentional without having that desperation? I think maybe, I may not answer this question, but I think sometimes it's who you're with.
Yeah.
Because if it's somebody that's not ready,
I feel like
they will make you feel as if you're being desperate.
Yes.
But if somebody that is your match, they'll feel like, okay, we're going the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think you can answer that question by yourself.
Even with him, like before we started dating, we're still like in our we're still like, we're dating, we're like talking stage. We're not in a relationship yet. We already like had that conversation that we both went to like, we kind of knew. I don't know, people say they knew, but like we kind of knew that
you were just going somewhere.
This is going somewhere. Like we're going to eventually talk. And then with the whole desperation thing, I feel like you just have to stand for what you want to do. I feel like I know in this generation it's kind of hard to really stand for who you are as a person when it comes to love, especially because this male species, they'll make you feel like you're crazy when you tell them what you want. And but I feel like it's just because for me, that was one thing I wasn't really, I have met people with mistakes, and like that they were really, I won't call them mistakes. Everybody is a blessing, but they were all like lessons, right?
Lessons,
so it was just like with each lesson, I was like, I kind of like narrowed down what I wanted in my head. Like, I'm not going to settle for this. I'm not going to settle for this. I'm not going to meet a man. If you tell me you're not ready to get married in the next 5 years at least, I'm sorry, I cannot be with you. I'm not going to waste my time, talking to you. So I feel like it's just more about knowing what you want and sticking to your guns. I feel like that's kind of what it is. And just end of the day, committing everything into God's hands. Like I always tell God, like, God, you have to give me the person that's right for me, because I know me, I'm a lot. I'm a lot. And I don't feel like not everybody can really, I might look quiet, I might look chill, but I can be a lot sometimes. And, it's just like, if I didn't stick to kind of what I wanted, I feel like I would have ended up with like the wrong person
or who would have
like treated me like trash, right? I don't even know, like just compromising my own values and ended up in a situation where I didn't feel comfortable, basically. So I feel like that's the easiest thing. know what you want, stick to it, and commit it to God. I don't have anything else.
Be that. This is not because she is be that girl behind the scenes, okay? But this is a be that girl plug. When I say people to have core values, this is basically core values. She stuck to her core values. So when you have somebody, if you have core values and somebody comes and they don't fit it, just like tell people that leave you and say you are desperate. Just let them go.
Let them go.
That whole, sometimes the lack of sense of self, sense of identity. They just but I have one. Let me just manage, and people are managing for 5 years, waiting for proposals for 10 years. And hey, maybe that's the journey, but I don't, I always call it the bastion of stagnations. There are men that are just there to hold you down. And I feel like men, what they want, when they're found it,
they do. And that's the funny thing. People say that, men don't know what they're always
because
there are men who will be in a relationship for 20 years with one woman. They will do, and girl will be acting like a proper wife in the relationship. She'll cook for him, clean for him, do everything for him. And then he will say, oh, he's not ready for marriage. 20 years? What do you mean not ready for marriage?
And then 1 year later,
like that.
And marry somebody else.
And then it's
very quick.
And then in 3 months, less than 3 months, you marry someone and you're like, oh yeah, I found love of my life and I'm ready for marriage. What do you mean? I'm like, that's the end of this, like, you kind of have to stick to what you really want to believe. It just has to stick to it. I know that.
What's your core values? Yeah. Okay, it can't be just be like living your life like that. Okay,
unless you're doing it for fun. But I don't want to say personally. I feel like I wasn't really I wasn't really. I'm fun, but I wasn't really like out there looking for that kind of like fun. Like I wasn't looking for that kind of love. I knew what I kind of wanted. So I feel like that's just the.
So okay, so one question I had was, so what do you think you guys could have done better, improved on? There's always something you can improve on. Or maybe you guys did everything perfect. Could be possible.
No, I don't feel like I did everything perfect. I feel like communication was one thing I had to learn earlier during our relationship, like our dating season, and even like now, even in our fiancé, whatever we are, like this season of
fiancé season.
This fiancé season, I feel like communication was one thing that's really important. That's something I'm still trying to improve on every single day. But I feel like that communication is a two-way street. Even everybody, whether it's fiancé, friendship, mother, father, like communication is a two-way. I feel like it's very important, and I feel like it's kind of overlooked. But kind of thing. One thing I also had to learn is that we're two different people. I can't really
impose how you think,
how I think, or
it's all ages.
Yeah. So I feel like that's one thing I just kind of I didn't really think about, that I have to, that he's not me, and he did not grow up in kind of family like we all grew up in two different families that have two different like mindsets or two different like methods of doing different things. That's one thing that I really have to learn. I'm still learning right now, is that we're not the same people. Like we're two different people who are coming together, for one common goal. And, it goes back into communication, like just having like that better communication. I feel like that's one thing, that I should have done better. Yes.
Okay. So since we're all about our horizontal mentorship, and horizontal is when, some of your people's friends are very stupid, but some of them are very smart. So this is like, okay, so this is where you have a friend that actually has gone through some experience. And, mentorship doesn't always have to be someone that's ahead of you. It has to be somebody on the same level. So anybody in their 20s in a relationship, and there are different relationships. There are relationships where just give advice, general advice for any young lady in her 20s in a relationship. First, give somebody a relationship where she didn't really kind of give core values first. So they didn't start like that. And it's just kind of like they're dating, which is basically possibly 90% of dating right now. So how does she kind of, she has to switch things up. How does she kind of go about it? Like, what would you think she should do?
I feel like if you start off with like your core values, just have to realign yourself with what you believe in, and talk with whoever you're with in that relationship. I mean, this is not only for girls. It's also boy, girl, male, man, woman, like whatever. I feel like if you didn't start off with like what you believed in, like the things your core values, things you wanted, I feel like have that conversation with whoever you're with, because at the end of the day, if the person is willing to and you pray about it, it can be the right person for you. It might just be the wrong
time. Yeah,
wrong time, or just like
personal time.
Yeah. So like the person might be in a different season of their life, and then you're also, but you guys met in both the wrong seasons. But if one person is willing to make it right and the other person is also willing to make it right, I feel like that's something. Any person not willing to change, I feel like pack your bags and leave. I don't know what else I want to. What else is there to say? I know sometimes it might be hard because
it's hard
when you fall in love in your 20s, it's like, yeah, this person is my all in all. This person is my beginning and end. But I know it's really hard. As someone who has been in a relationship that I had to force myself to leave, see, you have to pack your bag and leave. Tell people around you, tell your sisters, tell your brothers, and then pray with you. Because sometimes I'm not going to be spirit cocoa right now, but sometimes
Don't be spiritual.
It can be spiritual. They can be holding you down in the spiritual realm. I'm sorry, because
it is holding you in the spiritual realm.
It does happen. Like it happens sometimes where
you don't know where I'm an auntie.
Everyone will be like, oh, I shouldn't even take advice from this girl because she's acting like an auntie right now. But I'm just being truthful in like the journey that I have come in, because with my what journey we know that it was. With my previous relationship, I feel like that one was
you had to say the soul.
I had to like pray myself out of that relationship, because even like after we're dating for 2 years, and that 2 years, like the one like we're 1 year and I knew like I was like, God, this person's not for me. I didn't know. I cannot see myself.
Another year.
We still took a whole other year to leave, and then even after we broke up, we still go back together. I was like, this is a mess. I cannot keep doing this to myself. Like I cannot like keep wasting my time. Like I know what I believe in, because this person I can never take this person to my father's house, or my mother's house. I cannot take this person home, and this is not even what I believe in. I cannot see myself marrying this person long term. And also one thing I try to remember is like, can this person be a father to my kids? Can this person be a mother to my kids? Like, if this person will develop into a child, will I be fine with the person's personality? Obviously, some things that you can't really, I don't know. You just have to like,
you can't really tell.
You can't really tell.
Yeah.
But those are the person's, outer behavior. Are you fine with that person being the father of your child? I would always tell myself like, am I fine? And I was like, no, I wasn't fine in this relationship. This person, I cannot see this person.
It's interesting. So it still took you a year.
It took me a whole year. Like I had to like mentally break the bond, spiritually break the bond. And even after,
what?
Was harassing me.
Ritual help.
And it was harassing. We're just calling me all the time. And I was still entertaining those conversations, still entertaining, oh, let me take you out for dinner, bringing flowers to my job. I was entertaining that rubbish. But no, it was not for me.
It is not rubbish, girl.
I was still like there, but I just feel like I just had to like just be like, this is not what I want. This is not for me. Like I cannot keep wasting my time.
I think you say you think that you said that, but I think that this spiritual aspect have to be an auntie.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody is praying for you, like a mom.
Yeah, I feel like
somebody is praying for you, that gives you that strength. Because like deliverance is when you just if you're in a jail that is dark and they're giving you food, you have everything that you want, but still a jail. It looks like a very nice jail. One day your eyes just open, the lights come, you just say, I'm in jail. How will I get out? That's deliverance.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes prayer to see that no, this thing is not working. Right. Yeah. And then like girls, anything, somebody said that anything that fulfills an emotional need in you can form a soul tie.
Yeah.
People can form soul ties with people that they watch on TV, celebrities. So, talk of relationship.
Yeah.
So you need to break yourself.
Like you really have to like.
It's supposed to be Valentine and romantic, but you have to break yourself out of some relationship. You have to pray yourself. You have to pray. I always say people live things twice. You live spiritually first. So sometimes you have to get yourself before you even start saying that. Because if you go to somebody that is already to break up with you and start giving him wants to leave you, this man know how to entice you back.
That's what was happening. He was bringing flowers to my job, bringing ices.
Oh, say no to that. Let me sell more flowers on my chocolate.
But I just had to like, I feel like because I already mentally done. I was already late. Everything was already like.
I had to emotionally and spiritually first. Break yourself up, and then that's when you have the strength to physically leave. People leave things twice. That's for also people that if there's someone is trying to break up with you, let them go, because sometimes spiritually they have left you, emotionally they have left. They're just telling you now, so you just have to catch up with it. So it's very, very important. But this is about share before I start talking. Yeah, so I think we've even gone a long time. Do you have any? Oh, let's see the ring. I think we saw. I think I've not even seen the ring.
No, I don't think you have. I don't have my nails on. I just took off my nails, but yay.
Anyway, so let's go back to romance. I think we're bringing it to 10. Break soul ties, spiritual. To romance, very nice. This is Valentine's Day. So, what are your words of advice for any fellow 23-year-old fiancé? Let's end with that. And if we're not saying fiancé, it's fiancé. What's your words of advice? Like now that you're doing the whole wedding planning and all that, which can be stressful. It's fun, but it's also stressful. Like, what's your advice for them going as or starting this journey, because I do know other young people that are getting married, so it's not as uncommon as we think.
My advice, I even need advice myself.
Yes, advice, do counseling, counseling, church
Yeah,
counseling, relationship
like,
counseling.
I don't know, like advice for fellow fiancés. I don't know, stick it. You can do it. I feel like with the planning, with wedding planning, I feel like that's when you kind of like, I don't know, I don't know if I'm getting angry easily. I don't even know. So like, I feel like I've just been praying for like the spirit of peace. So I feel like say romance, but now what's spiritual and get. But
Yes, first be spiritual, girl.
yeah, I feel like it's just you got this. For fellow fiancés though, this is just you got this, because I know like the wedding planning season, being a fiancé sometimes can be stressful, can be a lot, and also there's also other things that'll make you. But you got this. The Lord is in control. I don't know what else to say, because I need advice myself. I don't know.
So get that thing you're saying, get advice, and then just leave it to Jesus.
No,
and
for real.
have Jesus
Like,
stay
I
at
did
the third person.
Vibes and Jesus. That's how I go. I don't know what else to say.
Literally, she was saying that vibe thing.
Vibes and Jesus.
Going on vibes and Jesus. So definitely, I guess in this journey, she's going on vibes and Jesus too. So
and also communication. I feel like, talking. I feel like, expressing my feelings more in my feelings, like telling him, well, like, this is what affecting me, so I don't get like pent up anger as well. Like, I feel like it's just communication is like I feel like that's kind of
that's
like
the basic foundation.
Yeah, of
anything.
Yeah, that's
okay. So this is our day of horizontal mentorship. See, people, it's not just for me. So you guys say it's Dr. Eniola being an auntie. I'm not being an auntie. Your generation, I said it too. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll not call it core values or what it stands for, but it's just the same thing. Just don't be out there in the streets without standing for anything, because somebody's just going to come and put their own value system into you, and it might not work out in your favor.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our episode today. I think it was fun. It was fun for me, because sometimes I just don't like talking. Or I talk sometimes, but I really hope you guys enjoyed it, learn from it. Subscribe, share, follow us. Follow our advice and follow
my channel as well.
Yes, we're gonna put it
Conversations with Shay,
and she will start filming again. So
I'll start filming again.
Have more episodes to watch. Pray for her, support her. If you have some dollars and you know them, please send it to the couple. Because weddings are expensive, but I'm very thankful that you're sharing your story. I always say that when you share your story, you can help others not make the same mistakes or follow the same path. So for you, we thank God is to follow the same path, not the same mistake. But even if it was a mistake, as long as you're sharing, people are getting better. So thank you guys for watching our episode. I hope you guys watch our next episode. Again, this is Dr. Eniola or Dr. E, and this is
Shay.
I remember you're that girl. Thank you.